Sometimes a single discovery can just completely flip what we think we know on its head. And that's exactly what happened when a single bone was pulled out of a Colombian coal mine. This thing, it was a clue to a monster that was honestly beyond imagination.
So it really all boils down to one simple question. A question that for a long time scientists thought they had figured out. But this one discovery, it threw all that out the window. So what was the biggest snake that ever lived?
Okay, to get our answer, we have to go back in time. Our story starts in this really incredible place, the massive Cerrejón coal mine in Colombia. Now, this place is like a portal to the past, because 60 million years ago, it wasn't a mine at all. It was this huge, sprawling, ancient rainforest.
So back in 1994, a geologist is working in the mine and finds this weird fossil. It was big, it was oddly shaped, and for years, nobody had a clue what it was. Seriously, experts were stumped. They're thinking, is this from a giant crocodile? Maybe a massive turtle? Some even guessed it might just be part of a fossilized tree. Nobody knew. And this mystery just sat there for over a decade. That first fossil from '94, it basically just got put in a box and forgotten. Then another one turns up in 2002. But it wasn't until 2007 that things really got interesting. The fossils end up at the Florida Museum of Natural History, and an expert finally takes a good look and has this aha moment. They realize what they were holding wasn't a plant, it wasn't from a crocodile, it was a vertebra, a single backbone piece from a snake that was just unbelievably huge. And right there, that was the moment everything changed. The scientists, they took this mystery fossil and put it right next to a vertebra from the biggest snake we have alive today. And the difference? Well, it was just staggering. This wasn't just a little bigger. The fossil from the mine was 3 times larger than a modern anaconda's and so much thicker and more robust. It was totally clear they had just found the undisputed king of all snakes. And it got a name to match, Titanoboa. So the big question, right? How big was this thing? Well, using just that one vertebra and what they know about the proportions of modern snakes, scientists did the math. And the answer they came up with? Up to 50 feet long. 50. That's longer than a passenger bus. Just try to picture that for a second. And if you think the length is crazy, the weight was even more mind-blowing. They estimated it weighed around 1.2 tons. That's as heavy as a small car. It's 10 times heavier than the biggest anaconda alive today. A snake that heavy couldn't even really move around on land. Its own weight would have literally crushed it. So this discovery, it just opens up a brand new puzzle. The question was no longer, what is this thing? Now it was, how? Just how on earth could a snake possibly get that big? It seems impossible.
Well, it turns out the answer wasn't just about the snake's biology. It was all about the world it lived in. A world that was very, very different from the one we know.
Okay, so here's the key thing to understand. Snakes are ectothermic. You probably know it as cold-blooded. What that means is, unlike you and me, they can't make their own body heat. So their metabolism, their energy levels, even how big they can possibly grow, is all controlled by the temperature of the world around them. And back then, the climate was just radically different. If you look at the Amazon rainforest today, the average temperature is about 27 degrees Celsius. But 60 million years ago, in Titanoboa's world, it was consistently over 32 degrees. It was basically a permanent, sweltering hothouse. And that constant, intense heat is what totally supercharged its metabolism and allowed it to grow to that colossal, almost unbelievable size. So now we have the picture, right? A truly giant snake living in a superheated world. But here's the thing. This creature didn't just survive in that world. Oh no. It completely and utterly dominated it. Remember how we said its own weight would crush it on land? Well, the solution was pretty simple. Water. Titanoboa lived and hunted almost exactly like a modern crocodile does. It used the buoyancy of those swampy rivers to support its enormous body, which let it move with, believe it or not, surprising speed. And it was a classic ambush predator. It wasn't chasing things down. No, it would just submerge itself in that murky, swampy water and wait. Totally camouflaged, totally patient, sometimes for days at a time. And then when some unsuspecting animal came to the water's edge for a drink, bam! It would just explode out of the water, constrict its prey, and swallow it whole. And the sheer force of its grip, it's honestly terrifying to think about.
Scientists figure it could squeeze with about 400 pounds per square inch of pressure. To give you some perspective, that's like having two fully grown African elephants standing right on your chest. Bones didn't just break, they were instantly pulverized.
So what exactly does a 50-foot snake eat? Well, other giants, of course. We're talking about huge prehistoric turtles, the size of a dinner table, and ancient crocodiles that were way bigger than anything we have today. In its world, make no mistake, Titanoboa was the absolute king. For a long time, all scientists had to go on were those vertebrae. But then, in 2011, they found the Holy Grail, a piece of its skull. This was the final piece of the puzzle. It confirmed that, yeah, just like snakes today, it could unhinge its jaw to swallow prey that was way, way bigger than its own head.
So you've got this perfect killing machine living in its perfect environment. Which leads to the last big question, right? If it was the top predator and nothing could hunt it, why did it disappear? The answer is actually pretty simple and kind of poetic, really. The exact same thing that allowed it to become a giant in the first place, that superheated world, is also what destroyed it. The climate changed.
See, after that era, the Paleocene, global temperatures started to drop, slowly but steadily, and for a cold-blooded giant like Titanoboa, that was a death sentence. As the world cooled, its metabolism just couldn't keep up. It had less energy, it couldn't digest its food properly, and its swampy home started to dry up. The king just couldn't survive in this new, cooler world.
And that really leaves us with a pretty powerful thought, doesn't it? Titanoboa is this incredible reminder of just how tied life is to climate. The world that created this giant is the very same thing that destroyed it. It really makes you wonder, if a few degrees of heat once created a monster like this, what could a few degrees of change in our own time end up creating or unmaking forever?